Google has added AI search or AI overview now to the top of their search results. So this is open to everybody now. I've been messing with this for months. Sarah and I have talked about this. Like it's in one of the sections now where you go to Google something and you skip over it. I'm at the point where I'm skipping over it. It's like it's at the top of it's the first result that comes up in Google when you search for something. Will often be one of these AI overviews. So this is based on Gemini. So Gemini is running in the browser, and when you search for something, the Gemini AI results coming to the top of the page. And here's the problem with that: you're searching for something, AI is the first result you get. We know at this point hallucinations are bad, and we're going to show you some examples of some hallucinations because this is what this article here is about from The Verge. They promised us a better search experience, but it's telling us to put glue on our pizza, and that's one of the examples that we're going to look at. So here's some things that Google has recommended as when searching for certain things using their AI overview. So this was the glue pizza one. I've seen a few examples of this, but somebody glued make pizza, cheese a deer. I saw another example that said, how do I make the cheese stick better to my pizza? And you will notice down here that Gemini and Google is saying add glue to the sauce. Add about about an eighth of a cup of non-toxic Elmer's glue to the sauce and make it tackier and help the cheese stick.
It's non-toxic. It's fine.
I think that's the thing, right? I think that's the thing they're hanging their hat on here is like, well, it's non-toxic, so it'll be okay. So maybe not life-threatening, right? Not this one's kind of like not so offensive, right? Here's another one: African countries starting with P.
So good.
Apparently, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Libya, Mauritius, all start with a P.
It's a literal language model. How is it missing the P?
It's silent.
Most of these don't even have P anywhere in the
every
name.
Yeah,
No.
I think you didn't know. Libya, yeah.
On every one of them.
So,
Yeah. It's
north.
Plibia and Liberia.
I just don't speak any African languages. That's my problem.
No. Here's another fact that it got wrong. I don't know what the prompt was for this one, but according to this, there's been 42 presidents, and 17 of them have been white. And George Washington's the only president who never lived in the White House. I don't know where this stuff even comes from. Like, it's just gibberish, absolute gibberish. This one, they asked how many rocks should you eat? According to a UC Berkeley study, you should apparently just eat one small rock a day.
Obviously.
That'll see you through.
I haven't been eating enough rocks.
Right?
And
Doesn't
that
it?
explains it.
Perfect. Well, here's the thing. To somebody, that makes sense. So this is the problem, right? This is the problem that we kind of want to highlight, and we should highlight this stuff. These hallucinations, while we think they are, some of them are funny, right? And it's just like, oh, that's stupid. Like, why would you believe that? Firstly, some people will believe it, even for ones that are dumb answers. Secondly, things like this that are like detrimental to health. Like, this is bad stuff. And this isn't like having to go out of your way to search for this stuff. This is top of Google search answers. We know people only read the headlines. They literally read the first thing on here. This is fact for somebody. Somebody will take this and believe it. I guarantee it.
Here's the crazy part about this. This is Google. They have some money, and this is how they implemented it. I mean, I just shared the link to a website called perplexity.ai. I don't know if anyone has used it. Go
familiar.
Type how many rocks I should eat there and see what the response is. They have steps. The way it works, it doesn't just generate random data. It uses actual like resources that it finds online. And so you get way better answer. And the fact that Google couldn't do that is insane. And so look at the response here. You telling me $1 billion company, Google, could not do what these guys are doing? What the are you kidding me? But anyway, this was going to be my not know, but I decided to just because it was relevant. Perplexity, amazing website. Uses there.
Note that it pulled in the same image look, by the way, too. That I was using as an example. So it knows
that's
this
crazy.
exists.
Yeah, but it knew to know that it's not true. It knew to tell you rocks have no nutritional value for humans. Rocks can break your teeth. Rocks may damage your digestive system. Rocks may cause injury when.
So Here's why this result came up, though. I did see some study on this, and it's because it was based on an Onion article, and this highlights a bigger problem, right? That we've talked about here. The LLMs have been fed the internet. The internet is at least 50% junk,
50?
if not more, right?
50,
If not more. I'm being very, very, very generous.
junk
Okay,
and only 2%,
Right?
You know,
I say I'm just being very generous with a 50. Let's say 50%, 50% of that.
Cesspool of
We know that it's pulling in that stuff because it's proved that it is. It's showing literal Onion articles, which are satire because we know it's from the Onion, but the LLM doesn't. So it's pulling it in as a fact that it's this way, and it's just. I don't know what we do about this. I mean, I guess this implementation's good, and Google's is just bad. So there is ways to fix it.
Yeah,
maybe?
no, I'm sure there's a way to fix it. And I think it's to have there should be a way where you're ranking the source of truth. Like Ground News has they try to show you all the sources where everything is coming from. And I think that's what's going to be the thing in the future. Anything that you see online, if it doesn't have a source of where it came from that you could click and go to, I'm just going to think of it as bullshit, BS. Sorry. Otherwise it's like, how are you gonna know if you can't go to the original source? So the future of search AI, I think Perplexity is doing an amazing job, is where if you scroll down, it shows you all the related source links and where it's getting the information and gives you more stuff. See, it shows sources, and I think that's what Google needs to do. And then if they wanted to go the extra steps, they should exclude certain sources, like the Onion website or forum. It's come on.
Right.
It just shows you Google has a long way to go.
$1 billion company.
Well, it's a hard problem.
These guys, Perplexity AI, just did it. I know. I'm just.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but for specifically that, but how do you what is the source of truth? There's people who debate all day as to what is true and what is not. There are people that believe the earth is flat.
It's not.
So they see an art. Yeah. I mean, I've got a documentary for you, Paul. It's great. But so who decides what is true and what is not? I mean, I like how Paul's got this example here where it's got the sources, and I'm like, oh, okay, I do believe that source, but I don't believe this source. So
Right.
I can see where it's coming from, and I think that's helpful.
I think what you're describing is what we were taught back in the day in school to kind of especially when we used to write things. It's always do citations, always show your source. And I think that may be lost on the new generation because they're just getting so used to I see it must be true because online. Why would they lie? And I think the future of content will be where anything that you read should have a track of links or resources which point to the original source that you could click on and see, and it should be highlighted pretty obviously. That shows hey, this is where it came from, and and I'm sure again, Perplexity, I think they're doing a good job. And I think and me being a programmer, I'm sure there's ways where you could have a wide list of resources that you should never, scrape for information. Every YouTube video that you watch, if it's something that YouTube feels is an important topic, like the pandemic or the earth is flat or whatever, they always put a little note, check your sources. This might not be accurate, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's something that we need to maybe mandate to highlight on content because, otherwise it's all going to pollute the internet, and we're going to have people that are going to believe eating rocks and smoking 2-3 cigarettes a day while eating cheesy pizza with cheese and glue.
And leaving your dog in the car.
Leaving your dog in the car will make you a better person. For sure.
Yeah. Do you think people lack discernment or critical thinking skills? Is that really what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because if I saw that, I wouldn't Google if it's okay to leave my dog in the car. I've sat in a hot car to know that man, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
I need to crack a window.
Yeah.
I
mean,
need to leave my door open for a little while.
Yeah. To be fair, I would say that I think people are trying to, because people know that LLMs are not perfect, and so they're trying to kind of exploit it by asking stupid questions.
Do they?
I don't think they do.
Really?
Do they though?
Are you?
I don't-
Yeah,
wow.
really.
Are you
I think
telling
we're
me
in
I
a
gave
bubble,
way
Paul.
too much credit. Oh my god. I am even
100%. I think we're in a bubble.
More than I wanted to be scared.
No, I
Oh,
totally
no.
believe we are in a
Oh,
bubble of
no.
understanding that the common
Oh,
person does not
no.
know. That's my problem with
Oh,
this. The
no.
fact that this AI result is top of page on Google, I don't think people know not to
Someone's
trust
gonna
it.
get sued.
Google
That's
it.
exactly what I said.
Google is,
yes.
yeah.
Google is
Exactly,
when
Bobby.
somebody dies from eating rocks.
And it
Yeah.
will be the European government. They're just waiting.
They are waiting.
need
They
another
are
reason.
waiting. They need their way to find that
We
income.
spent that
They-
last
That's-
tax
that's-
money. We got to get some more.
They're stealing.
Pay me.
The issue is, this is just a thing. It's an issue with LLMs, right? That I don't think they can solve. And the problem is, they're shoving these LLM responses at the top of search. That's the issue. We're going to places like ChatGPT, and we understand that ChatGPT isn't the answer to everything because we understand hallucinations. There's a bubble of people that will go to there and do that. The average person isn't subscribing to ChatGPT and using it. They're just not. The average person is definitely going to Google and searching.
Yeah, and I mean, the average person is using ChatGPT as a search engine.
Also,
Like,
That's
true.
thinking it's like results, and this is now like incorporating those results into Google itself. So they really are using ChatGPT as a search engine, thinking it is giving them actual like legitimate results, and it's
Yeah.
scary.
So to Bobby's point, yeah, people don't have good reasoning skills. Generally, people are quite bad at this stuff. They see it as the top thing on there and they believe it. It's like going there, we talked about it before, sir. You go to Google and you look up something. The first 5 things there are like sponsored ads. The people who use it a lot, we just skip past it.
Right.
The average person doesn't. They click
No.
it. They click the ad. That's why the ad's there, because they click it.
People I know, my age and younger, will click those sponsored ads. And you're like, and I'll watch them do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
didn't you see that it said sponsored? Like, my husband did it with some tickets. He was buying Iron Maiden tickets, and like he's like, hey, I'm spending like this much money on Iron Maiden tickets. I was like, why? That is expensive. I'm like, and I go to Iron Maiden's website, I click the buy tickets. I'm like, they're like $100. What are you talking about? How are you spending $500 on tickets?
You
And
click the ad.
he clicked the ad. He's buying resale tickets. And I'm like, no, skip. Like, and
Yeah.
just the regular people, you know, and my husband's not an idiot. Like,
Right.
these
I'm not
are-
saying people are stupid. It's just
Yeah,
that's
no.
we're just that's how we work.
Right.
Top of page stuff is just that's
Does
It's
Iron
there 'cause
Maiden
we click
sell
on it.
out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, really?
Oh yeah.
I was
You
gonna
missed- oh yeah. They don't have a
I was
big
going to
toll.
say,
Yeah.
Kevin, like,
Okay.
I think you made like a really good point is that because we live and breathe like the tech stuff, like we are in a bubble and we are like such a small percentage of people. And to extend that assumption on everybody else, like I'm very shocked, like to be like, oh man, that's literally exactly how things are. And I think there should be a greater education where it's not the people that are into tech, no, because that's just something they can't avoid on a daily basis, but more for general public. Otherwise, like, it's going to lead to issues for sure.
I really
Yeah.
believe that people need to start thinking that if you read it, you need to have a discernment that just says, I don't believe the first thing I read, especially if I'm looking for an
100%.
answer to something. You need to look around 3 or 4 different things and try to find a consensus. And that usually you can do that if you Google.
Yes.
But and the other thing I saw with the AI search is sometimes it does the other thing, which is like it takes both sides of the argument and says sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's that way, and you get this like oatmeal answer, like, okay, so I don't know, you don't know, so like we keep looking, like sometimes I find the AI summary being just nonsense. Like
it can be, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of okay with those answers. If it is a polarizing something that isn't
Yeah.
decided upon and isn't fact, then giving me both sides is kind of where I want it to say versus taking a side.
right,
Because what side does it take? Like, in terms of like, I don't know, in terms of anything, if
Right.
there's 2 polarizing answers that one side believes is one way and one side believes another, like you have to go with what is the lie? Tell me both, and I'll
Right.
then have to do the research. It shouldn't have an opinion. It shouldn't be an opinion engine.
Right.
Yeah, I was just saying that sometimes it was just like, okay, that didn't help me at all. Like I was just like,
Right,
okay,
it's not
whatever.
helpful. I agreed, it's not helpful.
Like, that's what I meant by that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
That's like we'll just keep going. Let me look down here because usually you have to find 2 or 3 sources, and then you look at one on one side, one on the other,
Right.
and then you can start figuring out what you believe. Now, some things like should I eat rocks? There's an answer, no. But there's just some common sense things. But you're right, though. I do meet people that really lack common sense. I was at a gas station yesterday, and this lady came up to me and says, "Where's the window washer cleaner? Like I can't find it anywhere." And I'm looking like right at it, like,
Yeah.
did you
It's where
look?
it usually
There.
is.
It's right over there,
Right next to the pump where it always
It's
is.
in the same place. So just people just don't. I don't know. They don't associate things well, or they lack critical thinking skills, and they'll just believe whatever you tell them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
Which
weird.
is
Well, I
go
think
ahead.
yeah, so it brings me back like 10, 15 years maybe when there was a blogger or whatever that had a Facebook group or something. Like I'm trying to remember, but it was blowing up. And the reason it was blowing up was because it was like crockpot recipes, right? And they were just like giving crockpot recipes like in a really easy fashion where like I don't have to like search. I can just say like, "Hey, I'm looking for a crockpot recipe with chicken." And then like I get the recipe, right? And like I was telling my sister who's a food blogger, I'm like, this is the direction. They want to be just handed it. They don't want to like search for it. You see it in Facebook groups all the time, like where somebody asks the exact same question that like the previous 5 people have asked,
Yeah.
and they don't search the group for that answer. They just want to ask their question and get the answer. Or like if you're in like a sales group or whatever, like, "Hey, I'm looking for like this. What you got?" Like, why don't you look through all the sales posts and like find what you're looking for? But people are just doing that where they're just like, they want to be like spoon fed the information, and like this is exactly what they're getting with these AI results. They're just getting spoon fed the information, even though it could be like wildly wrong, but that like, and this was like 15 years ago. So like people have gotten lazier since.
Well, what you're seeing today is what I call the GitHub Copilot craze, which everyone's saying that GitHub Copilot will make you a coder, and it won't. It just will never, ever, 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 ever make you a coder without knowing anything. You have to know what the answer is, and it's just like if you're looking for a crock pot recipe, will my husband like this one? Well, if you don't know what ingredients are, you have no idea.
Right.
What if he's allergic to cayenne pepper? Well, we shouldn't use that one. So like, like that one's not going to work for me. I need a different one. And so you have to be able to discern what you're looking for and have some kind of basis of knowledge in order to use AI. I don't think you should use AI and try to search for things you have no knowledge in, because it'll lie to you and it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Or just make stuff up. I mean, it really does.